Hello there, Banana Gang. Welcome back to another Fortnite video. Now, before I begin, I want to say a few things. First of all, this is not a gameplay video. I'm going to be showcasing one of the islands that I've created and with some help from my friends. Links to them in the description. Before we start the video, though, I need to clarify a few things. I was running into a lot of microphone trouble when recording this video, so I'm actually doing an audio dub over. I don't think that'll affect it too much, but if it sounds like I'm not entirely sure what's happening or I'm waiting, it's because I'm probably waiting for the recording to catch up with what I'm saying. So keep that in mind. If you're wondering why I'm not using peelies, because I wanted to use a slimmer skin to have, just to show more of the island, not be so bulky and in the way. I'm still using the little peely back bling, the little peely juice. So I'm still Banana Gang, I'm still part of Banana Gang, don't worry guys. The way I'm going to be showing you the map is going to go in two stages. The first stage I'm going to show you is to have just the island, but I'm going to have flight enabled, the storm disabled, fall damage disabled. Basically it's going to be kind of like I'm in spectator mode, so I can fly around very easily, not have to worry about things like dying, so I can just actually show you the map without having my vision obstructed or just like have to worry about things. The second round of showcase will be actually playing the map with the storm, fall damage, like playing it normally, and gonna be kind of showing off how it's gonna work. We're gonna talk about mechanics and the way it looks and what went into it and why we made it and how you can help and how you can play it. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to join Banana Gang. Without further ado, let's showcase how this map works. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the lava reactor. This place is kind of interesting because I'm actually not, my hands are not on my keyboard right now, I'm just falling, but it actually boosts you up so you can get all the way to the top. Good for movement, you can jump up and redeploy, or you can stay down there. It's a good way to avoid fall damage, just some good movement. Now if you head over here, we're going over to this area where it's called, what do you even call this? I don't remember. Oh yeah, no pain, no gain. This place is also called crack, and depending on how you look at it. And the way it works is that this is where you get one of the power items on the map. So the way power items work is that it's kind of like the boss items in the normal battle royale. The one here is a rift to go, and the way it works is you have to get 5 gold, which you get from getting a kill. It's kind of like Siphon, you get 5 gold from getting a kill, and you take the 5 gold over here, and that gives you a rift. And we have rifts around this area to kind of show you what you get and how it works. It kind of just have fit the rift theme. And it even says like this parry is unstable, blah blah blah. So this button right over here, this is how you actually purchase it. I'm not showing you right now because I don't have a kill, because I'm showcasing it alone. But normally you'd get a kill, you get 5 gold, you come over here if you want, you get a rift to go, and it's fun. By the way, if you're wondering why I even have these items, you start off with 50 shields, a green rapid fire SMG, and 3 shockwaves. And I think I'm actually going to use one to get over somewhere. But you get these to start off with. That way if you land on someone, you can get into a fight pretty quickly, but you also have some mobility if you're not ready for a fight, and just some shields to get you started. I also want to point out the different types of POI. So the ones marked in white are the ones that are kind of just like your typical POI, some chests there, some ammo boxes there, pretty normal. And the ones that are just one very short word and colorized, those are the ones that have the power items, and usually what the word has something to do with like what the item is. And we're over here at Pristine Parking. Not a whole lot in there, just kind of like general chest, loot, just like another place to land. There's nothing too special going on there, no power items there. I also want to point out that some of the places don't actually have names on the map, so you can see where we are now. On the mini-map there's words there, but look at the actual map, there's nothing there. So this is kind of like a parody of the landmarks that are on the normal Battle Royale map, just like to add more variety to the map, to make it feel more complete. We didn't want the map to be cluttered with POIs though, so most of them aren't labeled on the main map, but you'll see them as you're passing by on the mini map. Right now we're over here by the food fight. You can see it's labeled on the map. Now you have these armadas of tomato trucks and burger trucks kind of like launching themselves at each other, and in front of here we have this truck labeled Slurp on the main map, and the way it works is this is the second power item. This one's a lot less powerful, but you just get 2 Slurp juices here and you come here, and the way it works is you have to steal the jewel from on top of Durburger. Now for us it's pretty simple, we just fly over and grab it. Now normally it's a little more complicated because you have to like swim over and it slows you down and stuff, but pretty easy for us. We bring it over, another conditional button, you give it to the food truck and it gives you some Slurp juice. That's another power item. This is probably the weakest of the power items, to be honest, but we want to have some extra meds, get like a more powerful med. This is good late game when the storm's moving in fast. The next place we want to talk about are these like stone areas. I'm not sure to call them, like rocky islands. The reason I want to point them out is because they have a lot of geysers around them. You'll see everywhere there's like geysers on the map, they're on a rocky terrain. So if you need some quick movement, look for the rocky terrain, because there's very likely there's going to be a geyser there, which will give you good movement. Now the next power item is called Boom. Also says no pain, no gain. And this one is probably the most tricky, but also best reward. So this one works is you take damage every second you're in there, 50 damage per second. So it's a pretty heavy hitter. But if you can take enough damage and grab the Boom Bow, you get it for just the rest of the game. So it's kind of a trade-off. The best strategy I found is to throw Shockwave in ahead of time and then grab the Boomba as it launches you out, and I just failed there. But if you can actually get it, time it right, it's a very good strategy. Sometimes if you're really lucky, you can actually get in without taking any damage at all. We thought about patching this out, but we decided that if you're skilled enough to do that, then we're okay with it happening. And there, I finally got it there. So that's how you do it. I actually took a little bit of damage there, but there are definitely possible to take it without, definitely possible to get it without getting any damage. Over here we got the football field and some wooden like wasteland area. Nothing too crazy here, just another POI. The football field is actually restart the map if you're just spawning in when the map hasn't begun, but you're just waiting for players to join. Wooden wasteland is good. A lot of baller spawns. Talk about those a little bit later, but a lot of baller spawns, a lot of chests. Just an overall okay place to land. Nothing too special going on here. Next place we're going to touch on is the what do you call it? Shipping crates, and this was modeled after that POI in Chapter 1. That place that I feel like not a whole lot of people went to, but when you did go there, it was like usually at least one other person you have to contest. It was a good spot. We try to kind of capture that vibe. And the next power item spot is Spinny's Rock Parkour Challenge. This was my mate's idea. There'll be a link to his channel in the top right-hand screen right now. This was kind of his idea, so we named it after him. Basically, you have to parkour up, and you have to go all the way up, and there's balloons on top. Now, normally parkour, like I said, but I can just fly since, you know, I'm in spectator mode. I also want to mention you cannot build or shoot in this game mode. It doesn't let you, and the reason for that is going to be way too easy to cheat, use a shockwave or something. That also makes you very vulnerable from the outside over here, so you gotta be very careful about that. It even tells you that when you go in. But the other thing you should know is that a lot of these items, like, oh, it's just balloons, not that good. They're good in combination with each other. So balloons plus Boombo is a really, really good combo. Another good combo is the Slurp Juice with the Rift to Go, because then you can take some damage in the storm. It's just, I think it's a good all around. But this is it's probably the best combo in the game. Boombo plus balloons. Next place I want to touch on is the Rift place, Risky Rift, and this place isn't like. There's some loot here, not a crazy amount of loot. But this place is cool because there's a lot of mobility as well as just the geysers in general. There are also these like pointy rocks that point into this rift that work basically as a rift was in a normal game, where it sends you up really high to glide around, and it's just a kind of all-around good method of movement and transportation. I'm gonna cancel that for now so I can show you this area. This is like the metro station. Really happy with this how this came out. I like how the metro looks. It kind of goes into this like junkyard, scrapyard. It's also a little more over here. And the last power item I want to talk about is over here. Or sorry, that's the barn. Waiting for the recording, I'm sorry. Over here in this barn, it's the Porta Fortress. And the way this works is that you have to put mats in. So this is basically like a vending machine, except it requires a little bit of every single mat. What you should note, though, I'll talk about this a little more later, is that your mats will just randomly gain over time. So you're kind of just like, if you ever played the Floor is Lava game mode, it's kind of like that, where you're just constantly gaining mats. You gain wood the fastest, brick the slow, or metal the slowest. Touch on that a little bit more later, why we have that. But it's basically there. I saved this POI for last, just so I can just show how to get it very easily without having to farm a bunch of mats. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are all the main POIs to talk about. And like boss locations. There's a ton of other little islands and little quirks all over the map, but those are all the main ones. The last one actually I probably should talk about is the lighthouse in the center. This one's interesting because we wanted to have something tall and recognizable in the center of the map. So we went with the lighthouse idea because it's like a water map, so kind of having a lighthouse sort of makes sense. Well, there's a lot of boats. You can knock the lighthouse down, but something to note is that for some reason some of the platforms still float. That's just like Fortnite being buggy. We're not really sure why that happens. We don't really know how to fix it. But it's, even though you can stay up here without being knocked down, you should know you can't actually build up here. So it's kind of risky, but it can give you a high ground, which can be pretty nice. You also got this dragon place over here, which kind of inspired by Lucky Landing back from Chapter 1. A lot of the places on this map are actually inspired from Chapter 1. A little bit of nostalgia trip. That's pretty much all of the main places to check out. We got some boats over here, the monster fossil. All these places are pretty just little things to check out, other places to land. We didn't want you to half land a POI. I wanted you to be able to land anywhere and find loot. These windmills, these are actually all over the map, kind of all around the border, and there's a chest in every single one, but there's also a rift, and the way it works, it'll take you to one of the other windmills, but it'll take you one of them randomly, and it takes you to a different one every single time, and there's no way of knowing which one you're going to go to. So this could be good for getting away from people, or from just trying to find new people. It's a good way to just move around the map quickly. Something to note though is at the end of the game, it might be in the storm, so it's very risky because it'll send you into the storm and then it's not guaranteed to send you back. So use it with caution. Usually better at the beginning of the game for some early movement. And that's all there really is to the POI. Now I'm going to hop into, put all the settings back and hop into an actual round of it and show you how it's going to work with the storm enabled and fall damage enabled and not having flight, and you're going to see how it looks. So while we're gliding in, I thought I'd talk about the what and how this map works. It's all about swiftness. This whole map's about speed. The storms move quickly. There's tons of mobility all around the map. You start with shock waves. The whole point of this map is that it goes quickly. The timer of this map, like the max time it can go to, is 9 minutes, and that's for show. There is no way it could ever get to 9 minutes. Most games end by like 7:30. If you did it something within 9 minutes, then you're just insane. I wanted this map to be very quick, like almost bite-sized little chunks for a few reasons. For one thing, when you're in creative, like you're playing for creative, you're playing for like smaller version, only 16 players. You don't want them to go on forever. It's best out of 5 rounds. So if you're out, we don't want you spectating for so long, because let's face it, that's kind of boring. So we really want it to be little small little chunks. That way, whoever's spectating, they don't get super bored. They can still have a reason to stay in. Now, changing topics a little bit, you'll notice at the top of my screen it says until next bonus item. I want to clarify, bonus items and power items are not the same thing. Power items are only at their specific locations. You have to do a task to get them. Bonus items are just gifted to you when the timer runs out, but you have to have an open inventory spot. So right now I'll receive one, but if I were to have like a shotgun or something filling up that last slot, I would not receive the next bonus item. The reason we have bonus items, well, first thing you should understand is they are specifically picked for specific reasons, and they are given to you in a specific order. So the first thing you're given is chug splashes, just 2 of them. The reason for that is just a little extra meds is good, especially if you've gotten into an early game fight. You see we just got them because the timer went down to 0. The other reason we got them is if you've gone a minute and 30 seconds without getting any meds at all, then we feel kind of bad for you. So we just want you to have a little bit if you want to get up to a little bit higher health, make the fights more fair, or you can just save them if you want, stack them with other chug splashes. We have ballers around the map. Changing topics a little bit. We have ballers on the map. These aren't the best mobility because they're hard to maneuver, but we wanted to have them because they give you a little bit, plus a little bit of a shield, and they're good underwater because they're a little bit harder to see. We wanted you to be able to kind of sneak around underwater because the storm moves quickly. You want to be able to avoid players or avoid fights if need be. But however, However, ballers have very low base health, so if someone does spot you, you still have to stop and fight them. But we made it so that it's not going to be the most outrageously unfair vehicle. I currently have my loadout filled up right now to showcase what's going to happen if it is filled up. Normally you would get a grappler right now to get some more movement. By now, a lot of people have already used their shockwaves. I haven't because I'm just for demonstrating purposes, but most people would have already used their shockwaves by now. So we give them some extra movement and a grappler. This is just like the piano. I think it's going to be muted because of the whole microphone audio thing, but I'm trying to play Mary Has the Little Lamb. I end up failing. Yeah, I spent a little too much time on this, if I'm being honest. It can be kind of fun. It's interesting because the range on how far you can hear on this is actually really high. So if you're playing a song, people will hear you from across the map. And I accidentally just placed the launch pad because it was given to me and I just equipped it by accident. I want to clarify, the launch pad is not the bonus item. You get the launch pad in the same way you get mats over time. So every 5 seconds, you get 20 wood, 10 brick, and 5 metal. And that's to give it so at the end of the game, when there's less stuff to farm or less time to farm, you're just constantly getting mats, not to worry about it. Everyone still feels like they have a fair fight. Obviously, you get wood the most because that's the cheapest, cheapest, not as strong material, and metal for the opposite reason. Launch pads you get every 3 minutes, just again for extra mobility, extra movement if you need it. Good to just have it. And we've actually been getting pretty lucky with the storm right now. It's actually surprisingly lucky. Usually you need movement a lot more. I'm not sure why we haven't gotten any. It's kind of strange. So the next item we get, if I'm recalling correctly, is a portafort. Yeah, portafort. And before I get it, I'll just mention why we get it. So the reason we get it is because you'll see that on the map or as looking around, there's a lot of water. And the reason for first of all, the reason for the water is because this was made in Season 3. We're trying to capture that Season 3, flood, water rising vibe. But because of that, it can be annoying, especially in the end game, when there's not anything to build on, not enough platforms. To give you the portafort, that way, it just gives you more platform to stand on, easy builds. We also want to make sure that for every power item, it's for all the power items, there's some sort of item you can get somehow on the map that's a less powerful version. So this also makes it this is the less powerful version of the Porta Fortress. And you can see I just put it down. So it creates extra platform to stand on. Also, I covered it up, but you can use the tires to get some extra high ground. Just little things like that to make it more easy to maneuver around. Another thing I want to mention too is that these geysers are almost always in the storms, almost always at least one. We're not sure how we feel about this. These actually might be removed. We're kind of still playing with the idea on these, but we want there to be movement, but we're worried people are just going to use it to run away. We want people to be able to move as they want, but not to avoid fights entirely. So we're still debating on the geysers having them like so frequently, but for now we're going to keep them. So the way the point system works is that it's spent in time alive, which basically equivalents to placement and wins. But then if there's a tie on that, which seems unlikely, but if there is a tie, it goes off score, which is based on your elims and assists. Then it goes like damage dealt and eliminated, stuff like that. Pretty basic scoring system, nothing very fancy. And now here you can see a little bit why we have the Port Fortress. I already used mine, so it's not too useful. But you see there's a lot of water not letting you build on, so that kind of thing is good if you need just a quick platform. The next bonus item we just got is the Shadow Bombs. We're not sure about these. We need something to fill in the gap. We wanted you to have these so you get some like an extra mobility. That's a common theme you're going to see with these power items. But also that it makes you invisible temporarily, so that if you need to get in the zone, you're struggling, trying to build or whatever, it makes you not a super obvious target. It makes you just kind of like, lets you kind of get under the radar, lets you just get in without having to worry about it too much. There is one more power item, but the truth is you're almost never going to get it because the Storm's going to close and the game's going to be over. If you do manage to get the next power item, then have fun with it. It's not a super serious one. The last power item is kind of a joke. I'm not going to say what it is, so you guys have to figure it out. It looks like the storm's about to close, and as I recall, the recording is going to freeze in like 10 seconds, so I'm not going to steal this, but you're going to see that I'm alive for like 7 minutes and 20 seconds on this island. And the reason I bring this up is because the recording just froze. So what normally showing the scoreboard, it says 7 minutes 20 seconds. And the reason it's interesting because the timer goes to 9 minutes, but the game's gonna end before 7:30. So just to get you in perspective, if you're in spectator mode just waiting, it's okay. The game will end very, very, very soon because it's just very short-lived. I'm gonna cut to one more thing, and then we're gonna kind of wrap it up and talk about some other stuff to do with this island. Alright, so to really show how much mobility is on the island, I'm gonna be trying to basically go the entire time without landing. I say as I land. But once after I launch after here, I'm gonna try to go the entire time without landing at all, or at least landing at a very, very minimum, just to kind of show off how much mobility there is, like how long you can stay in the air. I also want to talk about a few other things. So the first thing I want to mention is that, I should have mentioned this before, it's one of the main things. You actually run faster than you would normally. I think it's like 1.3 times, like, instead of 1. So that helps you outrun the storm, helps you swim faster. I think you might even do meds faster. I can't remember on that last one. But I know you swim faster, run faster, which is really good for mobility. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when you kill someone, you also they drop you some money for the rift place, like drop you 5 coins. They also dropped, I think, a slurfish and a medkit is what we decided on. And the reason for that is because even if they're not holding it, we want them to toss those out as kind of a reward for getting a kill. So it like encourages like aggressive gameplay. There's also like obviously siphon, or not obviously, but it was obvious from the beginning that we were wanting to include siphon, so that's a part of the map. And this is kind of like a continuation of that. It gives you like a med kit, so if you got really, really damaged in the fight, you can get up to at least 100 HP, plus, like I said, a trap, which lets you fight other players for more fun. Another thing I want to talk about is the coloration on this map. So we really want it to be like bright and vibrant. That's why this like metro area right here, so like bright and colorful. We really just want everything to kind of pop it up, especially against the water, so we have really like bright green saturated lands. And yeah, aside from that, we just want everything to look fun. That's like the biggest thing. We want this to look and just play fun. Everything about this was designed to just be playable. You know what I mean? We try to do things that we would want from a map, so we try to implement those into our own. That's all there really is to cover. There's probably a few, like, probably make a bunch of other little obscure things we could talk about. This is fun to do with the grappler and the lay pad. I don't know, it's waste of ammo, but it's a lot of fun to do. But I know what you're thinking, or at least I hope I know what you're thinking. That's, how do I play this map? What's the code? Well, there isn't one. There is no code for this map because it's not published, and the reason it's not published is because we don't have a creator code. If you don't know, the way to publish a map is to use your creator code. It's like they're linked together, it's the same program, and in order to have a creator code, you need to have 1,000 subscribers or followers on some sort of social media platform, and we don't have that yet, so we can't upload this map, but we really, really want to. We spent a lot of time on this, a lot of testing, a lot of working on it. We really want to be a lot of fun to play. We'd love to have other people play. We'd love to play with other people. So if you click subscribe, share this video around, help get us there. I promise that eventually we'll upload this map. But for now, all we can do is just work on it and perfect it. But we can't upload it now. So if you guys want to help us, share the video. That will help a ton. Just spread it around. I hope you all enjoyed. If you found this entertaining or you want to help share it around, just drop a like. It actually helps so much. YouTube algorithm, kind of weird. Our analytics aren't super reliable right now because we're so small. But until I see you next time, hopefully we'll be making more videos like this soon. Catch you next time. That was a really long, awkward outro.